everyone, myself Meena, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Application from AJK College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Now I am going to explain the topic Introduction to Linux Operating System and Basics on Directory and Files. Let me start the first topic. So what is called Linux? Here Linux is an open source operating system. An operating system is the software that directly manages a system hardware and resources like CPU, memory and storage. So why the Linux is used for? The Linux is used for following ways. First one is a server operating system for web server. Second one is a database server. Third one, file servers. And fourth one is the email servers. So here it is designed to support the high volume and multi-threading applications. Linux is well suited for all types of server applications. So the desktop operating system for personal and productivity computing. So next one is the operating system we used in the Linux. So here the operating system is a software that works as an interface between user and the computer hardware. The operating system performs the basic tasks such as receiving input from the keyboard and processing the instruction and sending the output to the screen. So it is required in order to run the application program and utilities. It works as a bridge to perform the better interaction between application program and hardware of the computer. So there are various types of operating system. In that, first one is a Unix. Next is a MS-DOS. Third one is the MS Word, MS Windows 98 and XP Vista. So Windows NT 2000. At last, OS, Mac OS also we used in the various types of an operating system. So the operating system manages all over activity of a computer and the input-output devices attached to the computer. So next topic is an operating system does the two things. First thing is it manages the hardware and software resources of the computer system. These resources include the processor, memory, disk space and etc. So the second thing is it provides a stability and consistent way of application to deal with the hardware without having to know all the detail of the hardware. So next topic is characteristics of a Linux. So it collects all the programs, those are responsible for executing of other programs. So it controls all the input and output devices, those are connected to the systems. It runs all the application software in the system. Finally, it allocates the memory to various processes those wants to execute. So it has the responsibility task. So the first task is it detects the hardware first. Second step is it manages the process and it provides the user options start, stop or restart a process. So it manages the main memory. Initiate user interfaces or OS offer user way to access the system either with a command line or a graphical use interfaces. So finally it manages access and user authentication also. So let me see the next topic, history of the Linux. So the Linux is a computer operating system created in the earlier 90s by Finnish software engineer Linus Torvalds and Free Software Foundation. While still a student at the University of Helsinki, and Torvalds started the developing Linux to create a system similar to Linux and the Unix operating system also. So the first version was created in Bell Lab in 1969. Some of the Bell Lab programmers who had worked on the project, Ken Thompson Dennis, Richard, Rudy Candy and then Dolph Macron. So designers and implementation, the first version of the Unix file system on PDP-7 along with the few utilities, it was given the name Unix by a Brian Kernighan. So in 1977, there were about 500 Unix sites worldwide. So in 1980s, BSD 4.1. So in 1983, the Sun OS BSD 4.2. So in 1988, a TN Micro Sun system jointly developed the system, released 4. This later developed into the Unix where Solar 2. In 1991, Linux was originated. So the Unix operating systems are, Unix is called mother of operating system which laid out the foundation to Linux. So Unix is designed mainly for mainframes and it is enterprise and universities. So the Unix is a modular OS made up of a number of essential components like including the kernel shells, file system and core set of utilities or programs. At the heart of a Unix, the OS is a kernel, a master control program that provides the services to start and end the programs. The command used on the both operating system are usually the same. There is not much difference between Unix and Linux. Linux is a clone of Unix, so the learning one is same as learning of another one. There are 100 of Linux operating system or distributions are available these days. Many of them are designed with a specific purpose in mind. For example, to run a web server or to run a network switches like router, modem, etc. So there is a lot of Linux distribution. The latest example, one of the most popular smartphone based Linux distribution is an Android. That is a list of a Linux distribution like Red Hat, Ubuntu, Mint, etc. etc. So let me know that what is a Linux. So Linux is a small program that do not one thing well. So it is an operating system also. Linux is a Unix, a clone of written from scratch by Linus Torvalds with assistance from loosely knit team of a hacker across the net. So the Unix is a multitasking and multi-user computer operating system originally developed in 1969 by a group of AT&T employees at the Bell Labs. Linus Torvalds, a student from Finland, he created the Linux in 1991 using C and assembly language. The Linux was developed as a free, open source, open license operating system, which enabled the developer around the world to study modify the OS. Why be using a Linux? A Linux is a distribution has thousands of dollars worth of the software for a no cost. So here the Linux has a complete operating system. One is a stable, another one is a reliable. So the Linux provide a complete development environment. It is an excellent networking facilities. So a wide variety of commercial software is available. It's not satisfied by the free software. So it is a earlier upgradable. It supports the multiple processor and it supports the multitasking and multi-user of OS. An excellent Windows system called X. The equivalent of Windows but more flexible and it has a full source code is provided and free. So next we see the next topic, Linux structure. So the Linux architecture is largely composed of elements such as a kernel, system library, hardware layer, system and shell functions. So let me know that what is called a kernel. A kernel is one of the fundamental part of an operating system. The Linux kernel is the foundation of a Linux computer operating system. Kernel is the lowest level of a software that can interface with the computer hardware. So all Linux application and servers also interface with the Linux kernel. So it has a following topics like productivity application, so graphical desktop, system utilities, device drivers, Linux kernels and then installation programs. So first let me see that productivity applications. The productivity software simply means any applications of a program that enables one to product and create among other graphs, database, document, presentation, audio or video clips and then worksheets also. So next one is a graphical desktop in a Linux. The programs are used to list or change the information that is released to data set and volume. Commonly known as a GUI in the graphical environment of your operating system where you have the desktop and mouse pointer, your screen displays your application panel and then icon as well as. Next one is a system utility. A system utility program are used to list or change the information that is released to dataset and volume, such as a dataset, name, catalog, entity and then volume labels. Next topic is a device driver in the Linux. So it is a specialized software that operates a particular computer connection to device. It offering a software interface to the hardware. It allows the operating system and other computer applications to access the hardware functions. So it consists of the several important parts. So first one is a process management. Second one is a memory management. Third one is a hardware devices driver, and then file system drivers, network management, and another one is a various bits and pieces. So the next topic is then Linux operating system. So the Linux system excel in many areas. So it has the end user concerns such as stability, speed, ease of use, to serious concerns such as development and then networking. It has three topics. One is a kernel, another one is a networking, another one is a file system. So at the top level, it has the application space. This is where the user applications are executed. Below the user space is a kernel space. Here the Linux kernel exists. So next one is that is also a GNU C library. So it provides the system call interface that connect to the kernel, and it provides all the transaction between the user space and then applications of the kernel. So this is the important because the kernel and the user application occupy the different product and address spaces. So and while each user space process the occupy, it owns the virtual address space. So the kernel occupy a single address space also. The Linux kernel can be further divided into three gross levels. First level is the at the top, the system call interface, which implement the basic functions such as a read and write. So below the system call interface, it has a kernel code which can be more accurately defined as the architecture independent kernel code. This code is commonly to all the processor architecture supposed by the Linux. So below this, the architecture depends on the code which forms what is more commonly called BSP, that is a board support package. This code service has the processor. So the next one is a Linux kernel. The Linux kernel is the kernel nervous system of the Linux. It includes OS code which runs the whole computer. So it provides resources to all the programs that run under the Linux and manage all the programs as they run. So the kernel includes a code that performs certain specialized tasks including TCP/IP networking also. So here the kernel design is modular so that the actual OS code is very small to be able and load when it needs. Then the free memory afterward that the kernel remains small and fast and highly extensible. Next topic is the Linux networking. So the commonly the Linux networking comes naturally to the Linux in a read. Since Linux is a product of our internet or World Wide Web. Linux is made for networking. Probably all networking protocol in use on the internet or natively to the Unix and the Linux also. The networking support in Linux is superior to most other operating systems. The Linux support connection to the internet and any other networking using TCP/IP or IPX protocol, ring Ethernet, fast Ethernet, ATM also, ISDN or modem we used in the networking of the Linux. Next one is the benefit of Linux. So the popularity at prime and famous among the programmer as well as regular computer user around the world. Its main benefit or it offers a free operating system. Do not have to shell the $100 to get an OS like Windows. So being open source, anyone with programming knowledge can modify it. The Linux operating system now offers the millions of program applications to choose from, the most of them free. Linux is highly secure system. So there is no global department. There is a global development community constantly looking at way to enhance its security. Which each grade the OS becomes more secure and then robust. Linux is the OS of a choice for a server environment due to its standability and reliability, and it has the Linux based service could run non-stop without a reboot for the year on end. So the next topic is a comparison of Linux operating system with other OS. So let me see that Linux versus Unix. Linux is a free but Unix is not. So the Unix is compatible with the Linux at a system call level, meaning most program returns either Unix or a Linux can be recompiled to the run or a program written for the either Unix or a Linux can be it has a other system with the minimum of 1. So here the Linux have the faster than Unix on the same hardware. So next topic is a Linux with Microsoft Windows. So the first one, the both offer some of the graphical capability and include some networking capability. So but the Linux networking is excellent. So Linux is a multi-user, multitasking, but Microsoft Windows does not support it. Next topic is a Linux vs Windows network. So new technology. If we see that first one is a Linux needs 2 MB RAM to try out, while new technology needs 12 MB. Here, a Linux needs at least a 15 MB disk space, while a new technology needs 70 MB at least. So both system supports a multitasking. Here, the Linux supports the multiprocessing also. So the both support the dynamic hatch. So Linux has full multi-user support, local user, modem user, and the network user all simultaneously run the text and graphic programs. So it issues of a size of greatest strength of Linux is it was designed to be smaller and efficient. So the Linux was built on the internet, hence it has a better support for networking in the new technology. So the most software packages that runs on the Linux have either source code available, security problems are found, and it solved the many times quicker than its new technology. Looking of new technology. So the next topic is introduction to managing files and directory, and another one is the basics on directory and file we used in the Linux. So let me see the topic, directories in files. So what is called directory first? A directory is used to store, organize, and spread the file and directory on a computer. For example, you could have a directory to store the picture, another directory to store all the documents. By storing specific type of files in a folder, you could quickly get to the type of file you want to view. So next one is a directory we used in the Linux. So how we use a directory in Linux system? So a directory is a location for storing the files on a computer. Directory are found in a hierarchical file system such as a Linux, MS-DOS, OS, and then Unix. The tree command outputs and shows the either local and subdirectory in the directory of the Linux. So let me see that what is a Linux file system. So a Linux file is a structured collection of files on a disk drive or partition. So a partition is a segment of the memory and contains the specific data. In our machine, there can be various partitions of memory. Generally, every partition consists of a file system. So next one is what is the Linux file system? See, first one is Linux file system is generally a built-in layer of a Linux operating system. It used to handle the data management of the storage. It helps to arrange the file on disk storage. It manages the file name, file size, creation date, and much more information about the file. So the file system required an application programming interface to access the function call to interact with the file system component like file and directory. So it has the facility tasks such as creating, deleting, and copying files. In the facility, an algorithm defines a arrangement of a file on the file system. So the first two part of file system, it has the Linux virtual system. We call that as a Linux virtual system. It provides a single set of a command for the kernel and development to access the file system. Here, the virtual file system requires a specific system drive to give an interface to the file system. So let me see that next topic, basics on directory and files. Here in the Linux stores the data and program in files. These are organized in directory. In a simple way, a directory is just a file that contains another file. So the part of the hard disk where authorized to save the data is called a home directory. To find the home directory, if we need to type echo, echo means it brings the line. So echo $ and then we just type home. Echo is a command that output that state that are passed to the arguments. So it is a command available in various operating system shells and typically it used in the shell script and batch file. So next topic is creating and removing directory. So let me see that how we create directories in the Linux. Using some commands, we want to create some line like to make a new directory, we create mkdir. That means make directory and directory name. Next one, we remove the directory using the command rmdir. So it removes the directory. So if the directory has a file, can do the following rm-rv-directory. So it will remove the directory files. So and will ask for each file a subdirectory if you want to remove means we use the command rm-frv-then directory name. It removes all the subdirectory and then files also. So next one is changing and working directory. We currently change the working directory. So let me see that some commands are used in that. To change the directory, so we use cd directory name. This assumes that the new directory is a subdirectory of one is currently working on. If that is no case, so we'll have that name and then, for example, cd/user/local/share/ and then bin. To go to the home directory, we use the command cd for changing the directory name. Renaming directory. Next topic is a renaming. So let me see that how we can rename the directory. To change the directory name, so here mv directory and new name. So it will move all the file inside as well as. You rename the directory by moving to different name, the mv command to rename the directory. You can also use to mv to move a directory from one location within another directory also. So next topic is creating and removing files. So creating file can be done in many different ways. Here a few examples with an editor. Editor file name by copying an existing file. So we just enter the command like cp existing file new file. By typing stuff directly into cat greater than file. So we use this command for creating and removing a files in a Linux. So this will remove the content of a file. It has something it just want to append to the file. So we use that cat and right shift operator then file or file name. So finally the command by typing Ctrl D create an empty file in a Linux command. So the next topic, file management commands. So in that file management command there is a lot of commands we used. So first one is a pwd command, that is a print working directory. It print the working directory commands. So ls, next one is a ls command. Ls command, the command most widely used command and it displays the content of a directory. Next one is a mkdir. The command it will create a new directory. Next one is a cd command. It changes the directory from the current directory. Next command is a head command. So this head command we used the file name by defaultly. It displays the first 10 line of a file. Tail command. The tail command we used, it displays the last 10 lines of the file. More command. The more command will display a page at a time and then wait for the input which it spacebar. For example, if have a file, we have a line 500 lines and want to read it out, so you can use a more file command. So next one is a file command. File command displays about the content of given file, whether it is a text, ASCII or binary file. To use it, type file name. For example, I have a calculator.txt which has ASCII character about the calendar of a current month in the Linux command. So the word count, we have a command wc. So the command count the character words or line in the file depending upon the options. So the print total number of line, so we use the command wc-l. So wc-w, what it will do, it count the words from the your file. So wc-c, it print the characters in a files. These are the file commands we use in a Linux. So next one is a cp command. Cp command copy a file. If I want to copy older file to the another directory from the example, we copy the file name and then we use cp command. Next one is the rcp command. Rcp command will copy the file between two Unix system and then work just like cp command, same like cp. So MV command. MV command is used to move a file from one directory to another directory or to rename a file. For example, MV old file and then new file will rename older file to the new file name. In command. Instead of copying this command, the link to existing file using any command. Next one is a RM command. To delete the file, it will delete all the files in the folder. So RMDIR command. This RMDIR command will remove the directory or directories. If directory is empty also, it will remove all these things. I hope you all understood this topic. Thank you very much.